Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Safari Pedals Show. I'm your host, Abby. If this is your first time here, welcome to the Crazy Wild Safari Pedals Podcast Zoo Thing bandwagon. It's great to have y'all here. Speaking as a guitar pedal fanatic over here, I am so stoked for today's episode because Mark from Summer School Electronics is going to be on the show. We're going to be diving into his pedal world, what inspired him to start a pedal company, what inspires his unique sound and designs, how running a pedal business has been, and all the good stuff in between. I'm really stoked to dive in, so without further ado, please give a very warm Safari welcome to Mark from Summer School Electronics. Welcome to the show.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
So stoked to have you on. Thank you for taking the time out. Before we dive into all the good stuff, let's start with who you are, what you do, and we'll take it from there.
Well, I'm Mark. I own and build for Summer School Electronics. I started during COVID. I'm a school teacher during the day, so this was my COVID hobby that quickly got out of control and became like a second full-time job. Yeah, we've just been building and releasing pedals and keep going and going and going.
That's brilliant. I want to first go a little back in time from teaching, where did your music journey begin, and how did you also get into the world of guitar pedals, and what inspired you to start, and kind of the theme as well of your company?
Starting music, I was like a teenager, and I had a bunch of friends who were like playing guitar, and they would like hang out together, play, and I'm just sort of sitting there like, well, this is kind of fun to listen to, but I'm not doing anything. And they're like, are you going to learn something? I'm like, oh, I'll learn drums. Yeah, that should be fine. I'm sure I can figure that out. And I started taking drum lessons in school. That led to a buddy being like, I play bass. My friend plays guitar. We should start a band. And then being in the band, my buddy Steve, who designs all the artwork for our pedals, he was the guitar player in that band, and I was the drummer. So we've been friends since we were like 14. And eventually I was like, I want to write songs. Like, Steve, teach me guitar. And he's like, well, this is a power chord, and that's the internet. Go figure it out. Like, this is how tabs work. You go figure it out. So that started me playing guitar, took to it. And I was like, I want to be in a band. I haven't not been in a band since I was 14. And I'm like, that's weird. As soon as like one band ends, I'm like, I'm starting another one, or I'm in like 2 or 3 bands at a time, and like always doing music stuff. And the way the pedals kind of came into it was at that point in the time I had gone to school, went to college, played in a bunch of bands after that, did some like touring and stuff, and was like, I should probably get like a real job. My back hurts from like sleeping on floors. And I went back to school for teaching, and so I'm playing gigs, I'm teaching, life is good. And then when COVID hits and it got to be like summertime, I was like, well, there's no gigs and there's no kids to teach. I'm like, I'm just going out of my mind. I just needed something to do. I was like, well, I could buy like a Lego kit, or I could buy this like learn to build a pedal kit. And I was like, I have a feeling if I start doing this, I'm going to be buying a lot of them, and my wife is going to be like, are there so many Legos here and we don't have kids?
Fair.
And I was like, I was like, well, pedals, if it works, I could sell it, and then I could like buy more. So like that seems to make sense. And so I just started doing that during COVID. Built a bunch of clones. Some friends were asking for them, and I would like sell a clone to a friend to use it to make more for me. And eventually I was like, I want to like do my own thing. We got 2 rescue dogs during COVID, these 2 little schnauzers named Gus and Gladys. And I was like, I want to make pedals with my dogs on them. So when I start playing gigs, I can look down and be like, I got my little buddies on the pedal board. So that was the first 2 pedals that we put out for summer school, was Gus and Gladys. Those are like the 2 drive pedals.
That's awesome. And what a journey through.
Sorry, I was trying to like, what are the highlights for the last 25 years?
No, that was very well done and very chronological. Fantastic.
Well, thank you.
So from the Gus and Gladys pedal, you've had a few releases since. What for you, when it comes to choosing what to release, what inspires your sound as well as your visuals when you were kind of fine-tuning? Because you said your friend does the design. So what for you are kind of the important things when bringing it all together?
When we started the brand, it was like, summer school. I was like pitching a bunch of names, and that I was like, oh, that works. And I'm like, because I'll probably be building in the summer, and then I'll be teaching the rest of the year. Like, there's no way I'll be able to do it all the time. And so we started doing some pedals, and it was really just like, you know, when you start a band and like everybody comes in and they're like, I wrote this riff, and you're like, these two riffs do not go together, but we're going to explore it because that's all we got. The first couple pedals we did were just like kind of silly ideas of like, oh, I just want to make something that does this, or like a boost pedal that does this, you know. A lot of that came from like solving problems from like being in a band. So like we had a pedal called the Bootster Booster, and it was just, it's really hard to make a pun on a boost pedal. Like every pun has been done by this point. And so I made a typo and wrote like boot instead of, or like boots instead of boost, and I was like, there we go, that's what we'll do it. Anyway, so we had that pedal, and I didn't like that when you would turn on a boost and you're playing with two guitars, it starts like a volume war of like, well, now I can't hear me. So we came up with a thing where it'll make the treble increase. So you could stay at the same volume, but you'll just get brighter than the other guitar player. So that way, like, you both players can hear each other in the mix, but you're not louder than each other, just brighter. That was made to solve the problem of like fighting in the band of, so we would do stuff like that. Or I was playing in a cover band that would play like 3 or 4 hour sets, and I had a delay pedal, but like sometimes I needed like slapback, and sometimes I needed like a longer delay. And I had to keep the board kind of small because we would play these small like clubs and bars and stuff. So I didn't have like a lot of stage room. So I was like, all right, well, what if I make a delay pedal that has 2 speeds in it, and then it'll only take one power jack. It'll be small on the board. But, oh, and that became our Snow Day delay. So I was like trying to solve problems to be like, oh, I could make that and like figure out how to, if I'm having that problem, I'm sure somebody else is too. So that's kind of like the market, you know? Once we did the Snow Day delay, we're like, oh, we're summer school, and it's like the snow day that you would get from school because we're in upstate New York, where it's like one of the snowiest cities in the country, you know? So we would like do that, and then we did a pedal called the Science Fair. We were like, it's a rat and tube screamer, so we called it like the Lab Rat and Test Tube Screamer. So together they make the Science Fair. And once we did that, we were like, this school thing, that's what we have to do. Like, it was right there the whole time, and we were just didn't see it until you're like, how'd you miss it?
Like, having this start out as a hobby and transition to a business, how has that process been for you? Like, what have been some of maybe the learning curves or kind of nuggets you've picked up on running a whole pedal operation as you do now?
Oh my God. It's a total adventure. There was some book I read that had said something like, if you're growing a business, like if you're doing it correctly, every 6 months, you should have a brand new set of problems. And I was like, oh, I think I'm doing something right, because I feel like that happens every 6 months. I'm like, well, have you ever had to deal with this before? All right. It really started with like the actual skills of making the product. Like when I was building the Gus drive, learning how to, getting my soldering skills built up, and then learning how to breadboard and learning how to read schematics and use CAD programs to build PCBs and all like the tech stuff. So like actually make something, And I was like, okay, we got this. How much harder could it possibly be? And I made 12 of them, and I thought like, I'll have one, and like 11 will sit on my shelf. And like, I don't know, maybe some people, yeah, this dumb thing I tried one time like years ago. But we ended up getting 13 pre-orders. So I was like, oh, I have to make more. All right. So that led into like, oh, you have to like carve out time in your day. Like now there's like a deadline and there's orders, and you have to time management. And I was like, okay, so we do that. I started sending pedals out, and I sent one to Josh Scott at the JHS show. I was a big fan of his company, and I was like, I just wanted to know that one of my pedals was somewhere in that giant room that they have with all the pedals. And they got it, and they're like, hey, we're featuring it tomorrow. And I was like, oh, this is like a nerd dream come true, And we started getting a bunch of orders from it being featured on one of their episodes. And I was like, oh, that's something new we got to deal with. And as we like got better at like scheduling releases and learning like, oh, there's a problem with supply chain or something's delayed and we have to figure out how to navigate around that. Or like deal with marketing. Like, oh, you made this great thing, but nobody knows what it is or like that it exists. So you have to learn how to get your name out there. And these are all just things we picked up along the way. Well, as we had gone through and done it, like we started becoming friends with other companies and other brands and started doing like pedal shows and like in-store events and all these things to meet people. So we started getting like a network of like, oh, now we have people we can like talk to and share information with. And like, that's cool. JHS featured our science fair in their top 10 of 2022. So we got like hundreds of orders in the weekend. And this was right before Christmas break.
Wow.
And it was like, oh, you want to be a company? Well, trial by fire. So you're like, oh, I have to learn how to scale and talk to customers to be like, I'm sorry, there's a 2-month wait. I'm getting to it as fast as I can and like manage time and do everything, you know? So it was like that. And then we went to NAMM and started talking with dealers and just being like one person who has to handle all of that. Like I have, like Steve helps out with all the artwork stuff and he's my guy. Like if I just need an extra hand with anything, I'm like, can you take care of that? And he's like, yeah, I got you. It's fine. Like, and he's very helpful and very great. And I have some other friends who have pitched in and helped over the years with like little things here and there and some with larger things. But for most of it is like, I'm the guy. Like I run the company and build the pedals and it's just wild. The COVID bubble ended. So it's like, oh, sales have dropped. How do you manage like what you expected isn't what you're getting? Well, you have to navigate those waters and tariffs and supply chain issues, like all these things that are like, oh, I just thought I had to learn how to solder. Like it's just running a company is so different than just building a pedal.
Wow. Just like you listing those things off, I'm like, I didn't realize that could be a thing. Oh, wait, you don't really think about like as a consumer of pedals, as a customer, even buying from small businesses, it's like you never think about like how many things also when you're a one-man operation like can go awry. It's like the whack-a-mole kind of thing. It's like I can't even imagine just from like that list. It's like, wow.
It's just a never-ending spinning plate. Like stuff is just always happening. And I think part of being a teacher, especially like an elementary and middle school teacher, is like really prepped me for like, all right, how many things are on fire right now? Okay, we got to put them all out, but there's an order and you got to like figure it out. But it's funny. I remember going the first time I went to NAMM, I was with some people and we were sharing a booth and people were like, oh, it's just so loud and chaotic here. And I'm like, have you been in a cafeteria at feeding time? I'm like,
true.
This is nothing. Like, I'm like, this chaos, this is fine. I had to write 3 days worth of subplans to be here. This is great. I'm fine with it. Like, I don't know, it preps you in a very unique way to be able to like time manage and make sure things are getting taken care of, you know?
I'm sure it's like you've come in with armor. Like if you can handle a cafeteria and all of the chaos that ensues, then like that's it. You're ready.
Yeah, the teaching thing is definitely prepared, like especially when we do like pedal shows and stuff. You know, you have people showing up who are you know, they're all customers or maybe they're new to your brand, potential customers or potentially a dealer, and they're checking out your stuff. And you don't always know the person's background knowledge. Like the show I did last weekend, I had people who would like come up and they're like, hey, I've, you know, been playing guitar my whole life. I have 500 pedals and show me something I've never seen before. And you'd be like, okay, cool. But I've also had people who are like, I just started guitar like a month ago. I think I want to get a pedal. And it's like, oh, you have to be able to explain all that your whole product line and what you're about to both of those people and not assume they know everything, but also not like talk down to them.
This podcast in general, one of the central themes of it is about starting out, being up and coming. Do you have any pieces of advice for maybe any musicians, producers, engineers who are interested in kind of getting into doing what you do?
Just do it. It's awesome. Like you're going to have problems and it's not always going to work the first time out. It would be boring if it did. Like if you went out and pitched a perfect game, you'd be like, every time you'd be like, this is the most boring thing in the world. The problems and the challenges are what make it exciting. And the perseverance in getting through it is the greatest reward.
I love the way that you framed all of this. It's like just a wonderful perspective. Like you said, if things went well all the time, it would be boring. Like those dips are what make the highs. Like that's what creates the gaps. So I really want to highlight that. That was a really, I don't know. I just love the way that that was phrased. That was fantastical.
Oh, thank you. I had that my first teaching job was a very challenging placement. And I remember I was like still in school. I was living with my parents. And we were like, I come home, my mom would be like, "How was your day at school?" I'm like, "Well, I'm the teacher, not the student at this point," which is just a funny person. She's like, "How was your day?" I'm like, "It was terrible." And she's like, "What?" I'm like, "Most of the days are terrible. Like, I'm a brand new teacher. It's a tough placement. I'm like, it's bad. But if it was good, it would be boring. Like the fact that it is bad lets me try different things to figure out what works and figure out how to get better at it. Like I've learned so much more from that experience. And I mean, that's teaching, not music and doing this, but like that just changed the way you think about challenges. I'm like, oh, okay, I did this and it completely bombed. So next time, maybe don't do that, but maybe try something else. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay. And that, I mean, I have somewhere, and you can see this chaos behind me. I have boxes of failed pedals and prototypes that like you plug it in and it just squeals and you're like, okay, well, that one's not going to market, but now don't do that. And it's just kind of reminders of like, okay, keep going, learn, change, do it.
Absolutely. I love that. And I love you bringing up like the box of pedals that don't work because I think especially in the age of social media, I think we're always swamped with like successes. And for maybe someone that wants to start something, it's like, well, am I the only one like bombing like this pedal prototype, build it yourself that I ordered? So hearing that, it's like everyone has their process. So just do the thing. Yeah. It'll be okay.
And even if some of the cool, even like in music, some of the coolest like indie rock bands can barely play guitar, but they're like, I want to do it. Your timing's not right. Your tone isn't like classically great, but you're going with what you have. And you're like, I'm just doing it. And you come up with like the coolest stuff. And so like, there are people like, well, I didn't do well in physics in high school. I'm like, yeah, me neither. I like figured it out. Like it took me a long time, but like, yeah, you'll be fine. Just, if you want to do it, just figure it out. You can do it.
I love that. I absolutely love that message. So to sum up everything we spoke about, I always love to ask our guests to either drop, it can be a piece of advice or just anything general you want to say to the Safari Pedals viewers world. So do you have anything additional to drop to the people?
Oh my gosh. Just be cool to each other. Go.
Yeah.
Don't be mean on the internet and don't be mean in real life. Just be cool. Life's hard enough. All right. Just go be cool. Go play music. Be nice. Tell somebody they're doing a great job. Just be cool.
Yes. Kindness. We are all for it here on the show. I love that. Mark, thank you so much for taking the time out to hop on. I'm super stoked for this episode. It was great to have you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was fun chatting with you.